You know how you have those big days on your calendar that you look forward to? You put a red circle around it. Hey, I'm really excited. This was one of those days. 9 o'clock this morning, dentist appointment. Noon, the company Christmas party. Are you kidding me? Hitting it out of the park.
I can't believe that anything could surpass that in your schedule.
4 o'clock, the ride home with John and Kathy. Bingo.
Amazing.
And Scott and Lauren in the studio. Went like crazy.
Thank you, God.
Off the charts. Holy smokes. Welcome. Scott and Lauren are with us.
What a day. Scott and Lauren are from Dallas, Texas. They're here for Save the Children, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. We haven't served up the loveliest day for you today. As people who don't visit often, I just want to say this is what it looks like most of the time.
I was looking at the clouds as we were walking in from the parking lot.
Yeah.
And were it 25 degrees cooler, they kind of look like snow clouds to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm from Texas. I
No,
don't
you're
really know
right. No, you're into the clouds
It
because
has
you
that
were
weird
talking
thing.
yesterday about cirrus and
I know all
cumulus
about them.
and
I know right where they fall.
Yeah. So
you'll know
yesterday
when it
was
snows.
super sunny, but that's pretty much the only gift we can give you.
Right. We do have the water tower.
We can't
So
look at the Green
there's
Tree
I like
Water
a water
Tower.
tower.
I like a water tower.
Do you like a water
I
tower?
love a water tower.
He's got a tattoo of a water tower. Are you kidding me?
I'm building a water tower in my backyard right now in Dallas.
Smaller.
Why do you like the water tower?
I think it's a throwback.
I like it, yeah. It just gives you a sense of, civic pride. It says
Exactly.
Green Tree on
It
there.
has the name on it.
And the technology. They're pumping water up to will come back down. How simple is that?
Yeah, it's no big deal.
I just think it intrudes
You
a
think
little bit
intrudes?
on the artistic,
You think
the
it's-
presentation of the area.
It's a
As my
bonus.
mom would say, do you think it seems low class?
It's not
The,
low
I feel
class.
like it brings
Do you
an
feel that
industrial
way?
element to a
Really?
neighborhood feel.
See, I like it. I like it a lot.
John loves it. He always is
Wait,
talking
next time you
about it.
walk down the hall and use the bathroom, you can thank the water tower.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, see,
exactly.
now you sound
Pressure.
like my dad.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
I mean, next time
I
you walk
love the
down the
water
hall, you can
tower.
thank the water tower.
In every documentary, you have to have two things. One is a drone to fly by the water tower
course.
that has the name of the city.
There it is.
That's the scene setter in every documentary.
Okay, so we can shoot a documentary today?
After the show.
Great.
It'll be dark by then.
Starts.
At least we know how it
Wow,
starts.
someone is invested.
All right, Scott and Lauren are with us. This is our final day for Save the Children, our final 2 hours, as a matter of fact. We've got a great sense of urgency and fun ahead. Guys, let's set the stage. We don't want to presuppose any knowledge about Save the Children.
Other than
and what we're
saying that
doing
this
here.
is our Christmas tradition.
Yes, it is. Yes. Scott, tell us.
There's a different phone number today
Hey,
What?
because there is a one-day only match for your gift. Your gift will be increased tenfold today only.
Whoa.
Tenfold today only.
no, wait, we've done the double.
No,
goal.
tenfold today only, and it's a separate phone number. Now, this is for real. This is not like the President's Day mattress sale that goes on for like 3 weeks. If you call John and Kathy tomorrow and say, "Hey, I really meant to do that yesterday, but could I?" No, you can't, because this is one day only. So we come in here yesterday and today, and that's it. And so whatever you do today, $100 becomes $1,000.
What?
$1,000 becomes $10,000. We had someone earlier today, Lauren, that gave how much?
We did $6,000.
And the $6,000 becomes $60,000.
And who was your teacher that taught you how to do that advanced math?
It was
Mrs. Armstrong.
Miss Chancellor.
Miss Chancellor.
Miss Chancellor. And the great phrase from her that I still use today is immediately obvious to the most casual observer, is what she would say.
Immediately obvious to
yeah.
the most casual observer.
Let me use it in a sentence.
Okay, I'm ready.
No, Mr. Wilder, that is immediately obvious to the most casual observer. That's what she would say. That's
good.
And she's just
kind
saying...
of a nice way of calling you an idiot.
Sort of, yeah. But she, was my favorite teacher. Loved her. Some very stern, very tough. You can't say broad anymore, right? She's
No,
a
you
tough
definitely
woman.
cannot.
Then I'm not going to say it. But she was a very...
Who says broad? Like in the Navy? You just get off the boat. Hey,
All of a sudden, it's like
Anchors away.
It's like Gene Kelly. That's what I was going to say.
Wait till he starts calling guys cats.
Hey, cat.
Right.
He does that too.
This cat gave $1,000 earlier today.
dig it.
But anyway, she was a very good teacher, Miss Chancellor. I loved Miss Chancellor. And she had the Wilder boys. I was the firstborn of 4. And we had 3 boys kind of close in a row. And so at Brian Adams High School, not the singer, but another guy.
Oh.
Brian Adams High School. Not
Everything I do, I do
not
it
cuts
for
like
you.
a knife. Summer of '69. But at Brian Ebbs High School, if you said the Wilder boys,
I knew.
they would know because it was Scott, Don, and Bruce Wilder. And we all had Miss Chancellor, and we all loved Miss Chancellor. She was my Algebra 2 teacher. I didn't go to Trig. I gave up.
Immediately obvious to the most casual observer.
Yeah, the urgency for today, it's immediately obvious. Most casual observer, it's one day only, and we're very excited. James, most recently in Manorville, $50. That becomes $500. Dan in Pittsburgh, $25 becomes $250. Susan in Seminole. Can you still have a city named Seminole?
Yeah,
I'm glad.
Apparently you can.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we can. $100 becomes $1,000. Gary in Wilmerding?
Yeah, Wilmerding.
Yeah, in
There's
Wilmerding.
no Winkies in Wilmerding is what they say.
Okay, $20 becomes
Yeah.
$200. And by the way, David earlier in Midland did a monthly gift, the monthly gift, the $20 monthly.
Fabulous.
And that becomes $200
All right.
monthly.
Who's sponsoring this? Elon Musk?
No,
What's going
no.
on here?
The 10 times, you mean?
You know, the thing is, that, a couple years ago, was Save the Children's 100th anniversary. And to celebrate the 100th anniversary, they decided to give us the opportunity, on occasion, to increase by tenfold any gift, but only for one day. So today's the day. So let me give the phone number real quick. It's a different number. And this number is only good today, and this is the day to do it. So there's no tomorrow with this. 800-520-2649. 800-520-2649. And when you go to the website, you can go to wordfm.com. Yes, Shepard Smith taught us a long time ago, breaking news changes everything.
It does.
And so we don't have any verbiage on the website that says 10 times, but just know that any gift given between now and midnight tonight Eastern Time gets the tenfold increase. So go to the web, wordfm.com, or call the number 800-520-2649.
So different phone number. Would that mean a different operator? Might this be like Glenda, the good witch from The Wizard of Oz, answering the phone?
You never know.
You never know.
That's what it feels like.
It could
Something
be.
very lifted.
That's right. So today it's a brand new day. It's a one day only opportunity, and we're excited about it. So we want to thank you by city, and of course the state is probably Pennsylvania. We have West
Could be
Virginia,
Ohio, West
Virginia.
This is the
We've had
tri-state
that.
area.
That's true. So call right now and say I'm going to be a part of it. We still have about 70 kids that we want to be able to save. Yeah, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm sorry about that. Since I was the last one to talk, I'm going to be the first one to talk.
Yeah,
now.
what happened there?
I didn't mean to do that. I didn't know. I don't know all. I don't know fancy things about radio.
You're a radio guy. You just need to pay attention. Just,
I think you do.
It's been 30 years since I
Come
did
on.
something.
Now you're eating on air, which is even
okay.
worse. It's like one cardinal sin of broadcasting after another.
Keep me quiet.
Listen,
Dr. Laura.
so over COVID, when we were broadcasting from home, certain things fall by the wayside. You kind of sometimes forget where you are.
But you're comfortable.
All of a sudden, one day, John's eating granola during the show.
It was trail mix.
Was it?
There were some M&Ms in
It
there.
sounded granola-ish.
Wow.
Anyway, it wasn't too long.
That's a loud thing to
It
eat.
wasn't
I
too
thought I was
long
being
before
discreet.
management contacted us.
Really?
Hey, what are you eating on air?
Well,
What are you eating on air?
Said I had to stop.
That I
on
know.
Wilder did it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry about
We can blame Scott.
All right, let's set the stage here, right? Here we are. It's a few minutes past the 4 o'clock hour. This is our final couple of hours on the air with Save the Children. The tenfold gift is in place.
That's right.
But at its most basic, we are here today to do what?
Saving children by providing emergency nutrition and medication to save children who are suffering from severe acute malnutrition, which is, we would call it just starvation. Their bodies are beginning to shut down. Telltale signs include the change in the color of their skin. They begin to lose their hair.
Yeah.
Their bodies sort of feed on themselves. Their stomachs get that distended thing, where the tummy's really bloated.
You look like
And
you're full, but you're not.
Oh, no, it's exactly the opposite. And maybe the jawline is really sharp,
But the red hair, the tint is really a telltale.
It's really tough to see, and it was primarily we're talking about children under the age of 2. So children under 2. I remember one little girl. They measure their weight measurement is kilograms. So when you're trying to talk to a guy, and say, "What does she weigh?" and the 4-month-old, he says, "Oh, she weighs 2.2 kg." I can't react to it immediately because I go 2.2 kg. What is that? It's under 5 pounds. So a 4-month-old weighing under 5 pounds.
Okay.
And so today we're providing Plumpy Nut. Plumpy Nut is the ready-to-use therapeutic food. It doesn't need to be administered at a hospital. It doesn't need to be refrigerated. It's a paste that you just kind of crack off the corner and squeeze it right into their mouth. And so it's a lifesaver, and today we're providing that. And
Fabulous.
if we do it now, those kids will be back at home by Christmas. So
Nice. Well, so call us, won't you please? 800-520-2649 is the number. Once more, 800-520-2649. Of course, always, wordfm.com. You'll see the Save the Children banner at the very top of the page. But right now, 800-520-2649. This gift, we're asking, the basic gift is $60, which will save a child's life with the Plumpy Nut. And I can't imagine who, was there a singular person who said, I get this idea, I'm going to invent something to save children's lives. What do you think?
it really was. It was the Nutella that was the inspiration. It happened in France. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a great piece on this too that we've watched a ton of times.
I've seen it too.
A thing it was on 60
CNN
Minutes.
or
I think a
CNN?
while. Well, you know why you
was 60
might think
Minutes
that
'cause it was Anderson
It was
Cooper.
Anderson Cooper.
Oh,
who did
that's
it.
right.
Yeah.
60 Minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and we were just so moved by this special. They talked to the guy who developed it. Anderson Cooper talks about it. Well, many people talk about it, but they call it a miracle.
Miracle food.
Which you don't really hear a lot of people talking about miracles on 60 Minutes.
Right. Yeah, right.
And yeah, it's really, really an incredible thing. And another thing that I always think about when you guys talk about the signs of severe acute malnutrition, when we first started talking about this, I remember seeing these little rulers, little paper rulers, and it's got a little loop on the end. And at first I wasn't really sure what that was, but when you see a doctor use it on the arm of a child, and when you look at it, you think there is no way there could be an arm that's that tiny. It's color coded, and it shows you where if a child's arm measures in this area.
It's like green, yellow, and then red.
Yeah, and you look at it and you think there's no way. I mean, I had a daughter have baby dolls in my house whose arms are plumper than that, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, in fact, if you put your fingers like you're just putting one, like your middle finger over your forefinger, if you put those together, the upper part, they always measure the arm, the right arm, between the shoulder and the elbow. And most children, that are suffering from severe acute malnutrition, their whole arm above the elbow is no bigger than your two fingers. And if you have big fingers, then maybe one finger.
Really?
But my two fingers put together, that is the size of a child's arm above the elbow.
Oh, my goodness. No, I said this yesterday. Now, I recognize this because my son was born 10 weeks premature.
Right.
He weighed 2 pounds, 9 ounces. He looked like, and I love the boy, of course, he looked like E.T. I mean, it was all spindly legs and spindly arms.
Draped with skin, yeah.
Right. Now, of course, you know, we're talking about children in third world countries who have this horrible start to life.
Right.
How do you rescue a child, save a child? Because within that, all that prematurity and with the malnutrition, it affects the mind, it affects the heart, it affects long-term health, doesn't it?
Yeah, in fact, you know, the stunting that takes place, not just physically, but obviously emotionally and also just intellectually, the stunting that takes place when you are malnourished like that is crucial. They'll never, in some cases, recover if we don't. Even if they live, you know, they will be stunted in so many ways. And so
give that number again.
Okay, 800-520-2649. And it's the only day we're using the number. I really want to, I guess that's the most important thing to tell you, is that today is day 2. It's a day to do. It's a day of hope, not a day of nope. How about that? It is a day where we make love a verb today. It's an action. It's got to be an action. And so we don't want you to be left behind. We want you to be a part of it today and not miss the blessing. And know that look at what we were able to do together. We were talking off the air a couple of minutes ago, and Lauren and I have been in radio stations in Los Angeles and San Diego and Seattle and Chicago and New York and Philly. We've been all around the country. And we're asked many times, where is your favorite place to be? And we say Pittsburgh. And we really do.
Thank you.
And then they say, but which one actually has the most results that are the most compassionate audience? And we say Pittsburgh.
Every time.
Every time. I mean, we were asked that in Chicago by people in Chicago we were about to be on the radio with. And then they asked us that and at lunch. And at the same time, we both said Pittsburgh. I mean, it wasn't even a question. So we love this part of the country. We love this audience, and know that they're compassionate, and then they are passionate about letting the world see the love of Christ, not just as you look at you, but the things that you do. You know, the God flows through you, not just the light is shining on you, but then you shine the light on other people, and that's why we're so excited to be here. And and we haven't been able to travel around the country because of COVID and stuff, but we said we're absolutely going to be in Pittsburgh because we love you guys so much. We wanted to be here, and we knew that we wanted to be able to.
And it's become an annual event.
It is.
Wait,
it's our
here's the
sixth
number.
year.
6 years in 800-520-2649. Once more, 800-520-2649. Of course, online at wordfm.com.
Just makes me think of how, you know, it goes without saying that we're incredibly fortunate in this country and in this culture to have what we have. When John's son was born prematurely, he wasn't worried that he wasn't going to live. He wasn't going to get the appropriate medical care, right? You just
total confidence.
And what's interesting about it is you assumed.
Yeah.
Because we assume
We have access.
right.
Here.
We have what we need, and it is a shock to the system when you go into another culture and all of a sudden you realize you don't understand what no safety net means until you're in a culture and you think
There's nothing.
there's nothing here.
There's nothing.
There is
I mean,
nothing here.
the government can't do it. The government's got nothing.
Right.
I mean, you got a country full of people that aren't making any money. Nobody's paying any taxes.
Yeah.
The biggest employer is probably the military in that country, and nobody has anything.
Right.
And if we don't do it, and you know, we don't want to count on government to do all these things. And saying many of us who are conservative politically and otherwise. We would say, hey, well, you know, why does the government have to do everything? Well, you know what? Sometimes the government has to do it because the people of God won't stand up and do it.
Yeah.
You know, this is ours to do. And so we have a chance to do it together today. And just to reach out and show the love of Christ, especially, not a better time of year than to do it right now. And so we're excited about the chance to do it. And the number is 800-520-2649, 800-520-2649. And we're so excited. Karen, thank you in Pittsburgh. A $20 one-time gift. Monica in Greensburg.
Fabulous.
A $40 one-time gift. Stephen Vicky, thank you. Not that Stephen Vicky.
Not
the one
Stephen
that-
Eady.
No,
Yeah.
not Stephen Eady. It was Stephen
Yeah.
Vicky. But Stephen Vicky in Bethel Park, thank you. $1,000.
Fabulous.
Today becomes $10,000.
Isn't that terrific?
Whatever you do today. See, this is kind of the way I think of this is. Think of it like a key, and you're unlocking a door or you're unleashing something, right? So it's always true that whatever you do, it's going to be 10 times that. That's good. So $1, that's 10. But a 10, that's 100. So think about that. So the bigger the key, so the bigger it's unlocking or unleashing.
Fabulous.
So $1,000, boom, there's $10,000 coming back. So don't miss the blessing. Today's the day. It's not tomorrow. It's not going to happen. There's nothing that can make it be an opportunity for you tomorrow. This is the only day, our last day, and it's a Word family tradition to save babies right before Christmas. 800-520-2649. 800-520-2649. Or online at wordfm.com.
Outstanding. So I'm online today. You know, I'm shopping. And of course,
Getting
everyone.
my gift.
Well, yeah, it's coming. But everyone says, right? So here we are. We're, not that far away from Christmas Day. This gift will arrive by Christmas. So
Yes.
that's how close we are. And everyone's like anxious
Or
about
this
that.
gift will in no way arrive.
Right, and then you go, oh, I better think of a better idea, right? But that's how close we are. So I know that everybody's focused on the 25th, but this moment, today, right now, we're focused on saving children's lives. So as Scott said, don't let this blessing go by. Of course, you want to engage and love and be part of a wider community and give a lot of joy and hope as we move closer to Christmas Day. But right now, no accident that you've chosen to join us right now. No accident. We're all here together. You're part of our family. So just make it one step forward. Take a little tiny slice of your Christmas budget and make sure that Save the Children is able to give Plumpy Nut to children who would truly die otherwise. The number is 800-520-2649. Once more, 800-520-2649.
And this one will arrive by Christmas.
Amen.
There we go.
So you don't have to worry about that. This absolutely, your call today can get a kid back out of the hospital and back home, save their life, and to get back to their village before Christmas when you call the number 800-520-2649.
Very nice. Okay, so Kath, you talked yesterday about the anxiety of having a child, being a mom for the first time, and your child wasn't able to eat properly. I mean, the idea of that, so we're talking about a baby, but of course, as you talk about a baby, you also have to talk about the mother, the father, the extended family. Everybody's part of this, and all that anxiety, all that fear just goes through the roof. It's too much to bear.
We were falling apart. I mean, I'd
Sure.
like to say, you know what? Our marriage was so stable and we were such healthy people that we were just able to weather that. But that really wasn't the case. I mean, I had all sorts of psychiatric problems during that period of time because I just felt like
Overwhelmed.
I felt like this baby's life was in my hands, and I wasn't able to do it. That's the best I can say.
Right.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to do it. And it didn't matter if I would go to a doctor and they would say, this isn't your fault.
Right.
You know it's not your fault. And I appreciate that, but it doesn't take away the fact that it feels like it's my fault.
Well, and there's a difference between your head knowledge and your heart knowledge.
Yeah,
So your
yeah.
mind could know it's not your
Right,
fault, but
right.
in the inside,
That's how it
when
felt.
you're all by yourself, when you wake up in the middle of the night,
Yes, when it's
what do
4
you
in the
feel
morning
like inside,
and the baby's screaming
Yeah.
because she's hungry and she can't eat,
Yeah,
and I don't, it was a very hard time.
800-520-2649 or wordfm.com. Scott, you and I have traveled together, and I think one of the first times I was with you, we were in one of these little villages, and someone said, we should leave now because soon the sun will set. And I thought, well, what does that mean? Well, what it meant was, the village is going to be in darkness. There's no electricity.
Correct.
That's how far away we are.
Wow.
That's how primitive things are.
unbelievable.
Right?
It really
things just
is.
shut. So that means the people who are out there, when the day's over, What do they have for light?
Yeah, they don't have flashlights. They don't have their cell phones. They can turn on the flashlight. They don't have the little headbands with the flashlight Cyclops headlamp.
Not a street light.
Nothing. There's nothing. I mean, it really is. It is completely a different world in that part of the world, and it is half a world away, but it's worlds away from our experience. And I would just say, I think God calls on us to be compassionate in a way that we can say, I may never live like that, but if it weren't for God's grace, that could be me. That could be my kids. That could be my grandkids. And what would I do? How hard would I be praying that somebody somewhere in Pittsburgh or somewhere
did something
that even if I remember I'm going to tear up thinking about it. Lauren, remember the African man that said, even if we are alone, someone somewhere is thinking of us. Oh my gosh. I mean, for real.
Right.
I mean, that's really what it's like. And so that's us. That's us. That's the people of God. We're the ones called to do that. And so the world's going to know we're Christians by our love. And we're going to love today in a tangible way and provide the Plumpy Nut, the emergency nutrition. The phone number is 800-520-2649. We want to thank you by first name and by city, and we have some people to do that too, and we'll do it when we come back after a break.
Fabulous. And we often think, I don't have internet, or I can't get to this. Right? We always talk about this is a first world problem.
Right.
Well, today we're talking about third world problems, which is the nature of just struggling to be alive. WordFM.com. Save the Children banner, top of the page. Here's how blessed we are. This was our second Christmas luncheon of the year. Our second Christmas luncheon. And, of course, we did the white elephant gift, which was a lot of fun. A lot of weird stuff coming our way. But, management said, well, welcome back from COVID. Let's do a gathering in July.
Yeah.
And now here we are in December doing our second one.
Okay.
Oh, that is nice.
Yeah. Kath, were you happy with your white elephant gift?
I was very happy because I had the last pick, and so
you got
I
to
could steal.
for whoever.
Oh, yeah.
But don't you have a cap where it can only be in 3 people's hands?
Yes, yes.
So at some point that doesn't work in your favor.
It doesn't, but it worked in my favor today.
All right, and what did you end up with?
I ended up with a game called like Crazy Family.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Is that a game or is that?
It's not like, well, it could be a statement. It's not a board game, but it's like Balderdash. Well, that's kind of a board game too. But anyway, it's like what's the apples to apples, where it has to do with
Card
cards.
game.
Okay,
You know what I
okay,
mean?
yeah.
And it's for people whose families are crazy, and mine is. So I
Okay.
thought we'd have a good
Well,
time.
that's
Works.
fun.
I wanted that
Would
game.
that not apply
Did you
to
want the
I
game?
did. But
What
then
did you end up with?
a lighted tossle hat.
What is a tossle hat? What do
You
you
know,
mean?
like
A
a,
little, like a pom-pom?
Yep.
Yeah.
thing on
Oh,
top?
okay.
it's got a light on it.
Oh, gotcha.
Like a
Like
miner's helmet.
headlamp?
Yeah.
So handy.
Built into it.
Yeah.
I like it.
You
See.
So
can
I'll
do
be out
all-
there shoveling the
I
snow.
All
use that
kinds
all
of
the
stuff
time.
I think
around
I'd
the
use it.
I use that all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I'm happy to use it. But I did want that game, but I thought in the interest of good blood between
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, preserving
don't
our
even go there,
relationship.
right?
And by the way, didn't each person get a ham?
Yes,
We
we
did.
got a ham.
Unbelievable.
You wanna take one
Did
back
see
with you?
it?
Nice. I
Did you see
didn't
it?
see it.
There are like 2 in the freezer and 2 in the fridge.
Exactly.
And everybody got a ham.
Right, we
If
did.
you guys walked on the plane, each with a ham, that would be
Yeah,
awesome.
wouldn't it be?
Take him.
No, they can't.
It won't
do
go through
No.
security.
I have a feeling the
Probably
people
not.
on the plane might start to complain after
Right.
like hour one.
And if you
Right.
get delayed,
Yeah.
though, you could always have a ham.
Well, we were,
That's
we
true.
were delayed an hour and a half coming here, at least, right? Which is okay. So we didn't want to miss.
Were you on the plane? Delayed?
No, thankfully we weren't.
that's
Yeah,
the
we
worst.
weren't. We were in the terminal.
Well, imagine
and
if
they
you would have
changed-
had a ham. If you would have had a ham.
Yeah, it would have
That'd
been
great.
the center of attention.
Yeah.
Ham envy. That's what it would have
That's
been.
exactly
Or
so.
we might have been really popular on the plane.
Well, that's
You
true,
could have
too,
made
yeah.
so many friends.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
true.
You would have made many more friends than you wanted.
See, like,
Yeah.
if the
So-
plane went down, you were like holding on to your
right,
ham.
hold on to
thinking,
the
this
ham.
will save me,
Right,
my
right,
ham.
exactly.
Or you'd think to yourself, "This is the end," and I'm
Yeah,
holding on
And
to
I'm
it.
holding a ham. I'm holding a
Come
free
to this.
ham from Pittsburgh.
Really sad.
But we love those guys.
That's Scott Wilder and Lauren Lindner. They're here from Save the Children from Dallas, Texas, and we're talking about saving kids today who are suffering from acute malnutrition. So this is a Christmas thing that we do, right? This is
The 6th time.
what are you doing?
Is it time?
Breaking away?
Is it time already?
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
so.
Well, I got all
Well, thanks
excited.
to
I was going to
people on
say
the
a
other
thing.
side of
Okay,
the
well, I'll
day.
say a thing when we
We
come
just
back.
got here.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's okay.
wordfm.com. Please go online. Look for the banner at the top of the page. It says Save the Children.
All right, or
And then Save the
800
Children.
520-2649.
Okay.
800-520-2649. You just got to get in there.
think I
Otherwise,
may
it's
go
all
long.
ham talk. What the heck's that all about?
I think I made it go long before.
Sorry. Hey, welcome back. Happy that you're with us here today. We have 80 minutes until Scott and Lauren leave us and go back to Dallas. So can we save 80 children's lives in those remaining 80 minutes?
Look, this is the last day. It's the last day. It's the only day you get the tenfold increase in your gift. So $100 becomes $1,000 and $50 becomes $500. The number is 800-520-2649. 800-520-2649. Let's save 80 babies in 80 minutes, and we don't want you to miss the blessing. I know some people called the last couple minutes.
Yes, they have. Let's thank a couple of people. Ronald called from Finleyville.
Thank you,
Ronald, thank you for your $60 gift. You know, that becomes $600 today.
So instead of saving one, Ronald's 60 saves 10 today, but today only.
That's right. That's right. And then Herbert called from Alum Bank and said that he would like to do $100. So, Herbert, thank you for that $100 one-time gift, which today becomes $1,000.
So 100 becomes 1,000, 1,000 becomes 10,000. Today only $250. You know, yesterday we talked about the hospital where I was in Niger, and I said, 50 kids come in every day. Wouldn't it be something if you just pick the day? $3,000 would save all 50 kids that come in any one given day. And you rightly said, because I would say the same thing, I can't do $3,000. I can't do $3,000 today. 300 is $3,000.
That's
So
right.
if you wanted to pick a day and say we're going to save all 50, a $300 gift right now does that. Also, several people today have done the the monthly. You want to do $30 a month for 12 months, that becomes $300 a month. It's $60 a month becomes $600 a month. So today is the perfect day. And we also mentioned yesterday about people at the Cirrus cloud level of money.
Sure.
I'm cumulus,
cumulus.
very low, 10,000 feet, nothing.
Puffy.
The wind just blows them along, John.
The planes quickly get beyond me. But if you're up there at the Cirrus or the Strata, you might want to get the biggest bang for your buck for tax-deductible end-of-year donation. And this is that opportunity to do 10 times what you would normally be able to do. So $1,000, you want to do a tax-deductible donation of $5,000, that becomes $50,000, but only today. 800-520-2649. We're going to save 80 babies in 80 minutes. And you don't want to be left behind in doing that. So call 800-520-2649.
Very nice. Obviously we are pro-life here. Kath and I talk about pro-life issues all the time. We greatly need that in society. And of course, it's before the Supreme Court, shockingly so, which is a good thing, of course, if you're a pro-life person. But, every year people take bus trips down to Washington, D.C. to show support for pro-life issues. Fabulous. Well, here's a way to be a pro-life person, and you don't have to get on a bus. You don't have to go and get bundled. You don't have to travel. The one-time ask is just $60. As a pro-life issue from Western Pennsylvania to third world countries around the world to save a baby's life.
And we've been challenged a lot over the last couple of years. What does it mean to be pro-life?
Right.
That's
in all things.
We've had
true.
guests come on our show, like our friend Charlie Camosi, and say, look, you say you're pro-life. Let's examine what that means.
Sure.
Because it's not just about abortion.
No.
It's not just about the way you vote. It's about the way you live.
Right.
And if you're going to say you're pro-life, you better act like you are.
And the thing is, this is a part of the world where they don't care about politics.
No, right.
There is no political issue. This is simply life and death. And we have a chance today to stand for life, and we're going to do it. And we don't want you to not do it. We don't want you to miss the blessing. And so do what we've heard from Cheswick and Valencia and Midland, Greensburg, Pittsburgh, Greer, South Carolina, actually. Listening online, I
Terrific.
suppose.
Thank you.
McKeesport, thank you, Bethel Park, and others. And we're in Finleyville, of course, and Allen Bank, and Manorville, Seminole. We're waiting on your phone call now at 800-520-2649. We're going to save 80 babies in 80 minutes. And so be one of just a couple of people on the line right now, or go online if you want to. at wordfm.com. You will find no verbiage there that says 10 times and all that. But trust us that any gift given, whether it's a phone call or whether it's online, before midnight tonight is going to get the tenfold increase. And we would love to thank you by first name and by city, so do it right now.
800-520-2649. Once more, that's 800-520-2649. Of course, always online right now at wordfm.com. Hey, guys, talk to me about the first time that you went overseas, especially into a third world country, and you saw children. And of course, you know, we're all parents. We've all raised our children. But there's something to see a mass of, right? I mean, it's a different feel. I mean, society's a little bit different here. And so you'll see 100, 200, 300, 500 kids at one time. For me, I mean, it was just incredibly overwhelming. I felt literally my heart kind of expand when you see kids who are unfettered in many ways by technology or all those things. There is something, and I don't want to overstimulate this in some way, but there is something that's deeply beautiful about that, the purity of the moment of seeing children just as being kids as kids.
You know, the majority of the population in Niger are children. There are more children there than there are adults in Niger. Now, part of that is because people don't live a long time, but part of it also is there are an awful lot of kids in Niger, and Niger is one of the in fact the worst place to be a child, according to the World Health Organization. But the first time I went and I saw kids, I was amazed at how. And I don't know how to say this. I don't want to say even kid around and say it in a way that could be taken negatively. But kids in so many parts of the world are on their own. In fact, they might even be safer if they're on their own than if they're in a city and they're under someone's
left to their own devices.
Tutelage. Right, and so kids need our help in other parts of the world. There are lots of things we could talk about that would be excuses not to give. I don't want to give all those, but I mean there's a heavily Muslim aspect to the way things go in certain parts of the world. But what I always argue is this: if we can get in there and we get their attention by saving their child's life, we then have the opportunity to share our perspective about why we do what we do. Because believe me, the other side is working hard to win that battle. There really is a battle for the souls of men and women of Middle Earth, you could say, the hat tip to Tolkien. But in that part of the world, there's a real battle going on, and we have a chance to show a different way. And we have a chance to save a child or 2 or 5 or 10. And then we get their attention to be able to tell them why we do that.
Fabulous. We're talking about Plumpy-Nut. It is a miracle. I mean, it's like peanut butter thick in a tube, and a child who's on the verge of death, given this, he or she, those little babies, given the Plumpy-Nut, and over a short period of time, because it's so full of nutrients and vitamins, it revives truly a child who is on death's doorstep. That's why we're here today, to bring life to children around the world. 800-520-2649. 800-520-2649. Of course, online at wordfm.com. We're counting down. What are we at? 70 minutes?
70 minutes left to save 80 babies today under the age of 2 suffering from severe acute malnutrition. I don't respond really. My body does. I physically don't respond that well to like an aspirin. If I have a headache or something, I know people who, if they have a headache, they'll take like two Advil and they feel better like immediately. And it's like, wow, really? Because for me, I just don't. It takes a lot to impact my body like that. But if you've ever taken something and you felt better pretty quickly, like say you have a sore throat and you take some medicine or you take a cough drop or whatever, and you feel better quickly. That is the impact of Plumpy-Nut, but it is not just making somebody feel better, it's saving their life. I mean, you take within 2-3 days, you have a child that at one moment when they first came into the hospital couldn't even hold their head up. I mean, their little skinny neck could not even hold the weight of their head, and their head would just flop, and eyes that are lightless and lifeless, and little tiny neck. And the quintessential sign of being a child that is suffering from starvation. But within a couple of days, and I mean literally a couple of days, is all it takes. And you're providing enough to save a child's life. It gets them 3, 4, 5, 7 days worth of Plumpy Nut and medication, and they get back to their village, and you've just saved a life. I mean, count the stockings up in your house, and maybe you would say, wouldn't it be cool that if you could look at the stockings for the rest of the holiday season, and you could say every time you looked at them, you see 7 up there, whatever it is, say, we saved 7 babies with the Word family tradition of saving babies right before Christmas time. And so I want you to call right now. We have 67 minutes left to save 80 babies, and the phone number is 800-520-2649, 800-520-2649, or online at wordfm.com.
Fabulous. I mean, okay, so here we are. We are counting down to Christmas Day. The conversation in our house last night, here, this is the weird thing. We talked about this yesterday. As we're eating food, we're talking about food. So we're eating dinner last night, and my wife says, well, what would you like for dinner for Christmas? We have people over. Should we do ham or turkey or lamb? What do you think? And in between, me, shoveling potatoes in my mouth, I'm considering what I would like to eat on Christmas Day. That's where we are in America. And I mean, I'm not, indicting myself. This is just the blessings that we've been given to be here in the United States of America. And despite all the travails going on, I still believe the greatest country in the history of the world, that God truly has blessed us. So because of this, I have to have a response to help those who cannot help themselves. I must do this. If I call myself a believer in Jesus, there is some part of me that bows my head in gratitude of where I am and says, yes, Lord, yes, and thank you. Here's an opportunity. That's all we're saying.
And then this is the last day. I want to be clear. This is the last day. This is the only day that you have to get the tenfold increase. And it is our last day. We're not going to be around tomorrow to do it. So call right now, 800-520-2649. Increase your gift tenfold when you call right now, 800-520-2649.
We're going to step away for just a minute, but please consider this. Think about it, as Scott says. Pray about it, and then do it. Join us, wordfm.com. Hey, thanks for being with us. Lauren Littner, Scott Wilder with us from Save the Children. They come up here. This is 6th year in a row that we've done this with Save the Children, and I love it so much. I mean, you think about Christmas and the infant child Jesus, the birth of Christ that changed the universe. And today we're helping to save children.
How scared his mother was. How scared his mother was.
Yeah.
Right.
What was going to happen, you know?
I mean, that story has echoes here today, and that's why we invite you to be part of this at 800-520-2649. 800-520-2649. $60 saves a baby's life. That's it. $60 saves one baby's life. Scott and Wilder are going to be with us now for maybe 63 more minutes.
Yeah.
We're hoping to do 63 babies in the time.
Yeah, well, we still have 80. We have a total of 80 from our 80 minutes, 80 and 80 minutes. So we still have 80 to do in the next 63 minutes. But here's the deal. Your gift today will do 10 times as much only today. 800-520-2649 is the number. 800-520-2649. We want to thank you by first name. Maybe at the top of the hour in the news, we'll have some folks to thank. But if you're on the line right now, thank you. We've been praying for you. Ronald and Herbert and James and Dan and Susan and Gary and Patricia and Rosemary. We were praying for you, and we ask you to pray for the next folks that will be on the phone or online at wordfm.com or call the number 800-520-2649. We are very excited. You know, when I was on that side of the microphone, like every day, I used to say about things like this, what kind of friend would I be if I didn't give her the opportunity to do this wonderful thing? And I really feel that way. You know, we don't come up with apology. Well, you know, yeah, if we're trying, if you can. I mean, no. Listen, man, we're saving babies today. And what are you doing? What are you doing today? How come you would opt to be left out of such a wonderful, glorious thing to do at this time of year? So call right now, 800-520-2649 or online at wordfm.com.
That's a great invitation. Okay, Cass, so when the remaining minute left, you bring up Mary and her fear and anxiety driving her as a mom.
I just think how divorced our celebration of Christmas is from the actual thing that happened in every way. I mean, you know, and I'm not trying
clean things up,
right?
don't we?
Well, I'm not trying to be the person who's like poo-pooing the party at all, because it is a celebration and it's okay to feast and fast because that's part of the Christian life. But it is just important to take a step back and say everything about the actual birth of Jesus was filled with anxiety. It was filled with suffering. It was filled with uncertainty. It was filled with poverty. And so the more we try to divorce ourselves from that, the less we know about Jesus. And so if we're going to get to know him, this is one of the ways we do it.
Amen. Pro-life here today in action on the ride home. So take a moment, pick up your phone, and join us at 800-520-2649. 800-520-2649. Always online at wordfm.com. $60 saves a life. We've got a 10-fold gift waiting for you. Let's do this now, Pittsburgh. Hey, good afternoon. Greetings. Thanks for coming along for the ride home. I'm John Hall. This is our last hour for Save the Children. Scott Wilder, Lauren Lintner, and Kathy Emmons. Here's the deal. During the hour break, they all took a walk down the hall to go to the bathroom, and now they're just walking into the studio. All together, they sort of took a little walk, and now all together they sort of come back. But that's the nature of live radio and how things just kind of happen.
John,
so,
I'm sorry.
Welcome back, you guys. Happy that you're with us.
I was delayed because I went with the ladies.
Oh, get out of here.
I was wondering about that. Usually they go in pairs, and then you went along for a little triple excursion.
This place is so secure. I can't get back into your office without a code.
Right. You can't get into the bathroom without a code. You can't get into the office without a code.
That's true, too.
But you can get on the air with a code.
John, thank you for being a
piece of cake.
A professional.
Thanks, John. No water for John.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody was secure here. That's all.
But anyway, it's good, though. It's live.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and
you can tell.
You get the mechanics of how radio works behind the scenes.
Anyway, we'll edit it out in post. It's okay.
There's no post here.
Oh, that's right. It's live.
This is what it is.
Those are the voices of Scott Wilder and Lauren Lintner, and of course John Hall. We're in the Word FM studios today. I'm Kathy Emmons, and really happy to have you along for the ride home today because it's a special Christmas celebration. We've done this for the last 6 years, and we're celebrating being able to do something. Being able to do something for a kid that is suffering. We're supporting Save the Children in their efforts to provide Plumpy Nut, which is this miracle food. It's like a peanut-based substance that would kind of be in the container that that your salad dressing from Chick-fil-A would be in, right? And so when a child comes into a Save the Children facility and they're suffering from acute malnutrition, this can kind of rip off the top and it can be put into their mouth, and it is just a revitalization thing. There's nothing magical in it. It's the way that the foods are combined that makes it magical.
You have to think about this. I mean, they can't even ingest or digest regular food. So it's not a matter of, just smash the stuff up real good.
Right.
No, it doesn't work that way. Their body couldn't process it. So this is specifically formulated to be able to be absorbed, to be consumed by a child. I've done it myself. You squeeze it directly into their mouth.
You brought some in a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you've tasted it before.
Yeah.
It does have a bit of an afterglow effect. You taste it for a while.
It's like peanut butter.
But it's good. And even little kids, obviously in that part of the world, little kids love the taste of it. And once they know how to do it themselves, they'll just eat it themselves.
Well, what's that like, I wonder, for a kid who's had nothing to eat and all of a sudden there's like this taste explosion in your mouth?
Yeah. I mean, think about this for a second. I have twin boys. They're now twin men. But I'm always sort of drawn to people that have twins. I feel like we've read all the same books, and so when you go and you see, I remember a woman had a boy and a girl, twins, and she was there in Niger on I think bed number 3 or number 4.
Wow.
And I've shown you pictures, Lauren, of these babies, and they were 10 months old, and they weighed like 5 pounds each. I mean, they were just barely hanging on. And so part of that is because the mother herself, a bit malnourished, she could no longer nurse her children. And she had 2 to nurse. And so the impact was huge. And so today, your gift, not only is it going to save a life, but today and today only, your gift is increased 10 times. There's a 10-fold increase in your gift today only, and we are going to save at least 60 babies in the next 52 minutes. The phone number is 800-520-2649, 800-520-2649, or go online at wordfm.com. Now, you won't find any verbiage there talking about 10 times. Don't worry about that. Any gift given online before midnight tonight is going to get the 10-fold increase in your gift. And what that means is $100 becomes $1,000, and $300 becomes $3,000, $250 becomes $2,500. And we had a couple of people that called even during the news at the top of the hour.
We did. We heard from Deborah. Deborah called from Beaver Falls. Deborah, thank you for your $180 one-time gift.
Fabulous.
Also, Alice called from Pittsburgh. Alice, thank you for your $120 gift. And because you always say that it's guy math, I'll let you do. Just talk about how easy it is to
see Ms. Chancellor, who we talked about earlier off the air. But Ms. Chancellor, my high school Algebra 2 teacher, she loved the fact that how quick I can determine what the impact of the gift is. For example, $180 that Deborah gave, you just put a 0 on the end of it. The impact is $1,800. Let me show you how quickly I can do it. Lauren, give me any number.
120.
$1,200.
That's
See how fast that was?
amazing.
I didn't even need
Crazy.
my abacus is back at the hotel. I didn't even need that. So $59, $590. Just put a zero on the end of it. And, Deborah said she wanted to do this for 3. I bet you she has 3 kids. I bet you she did that for
think
3
you're right.
kids or 3 grandkids. But Deborah said 3. But guess what? Today, 3 is not 3. 3 is 30 because we just put a zero on the end of it. And that's the impact you're going to have today. So whatever you want to do, this is like a buy one, get one, but it's lives and not ties and shoes and socks. And it's not buy one, get one. This is a tenfold increase in your gift. And so this is the time to give our very best gift, to unlock even more by giving the best gift we can today. So I hope you will. We're going to save at least 60 babies in the next 50 minutes. But thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Alice. And I love how Alice spells her name. Isn't that nice? Mm-hmm. It's a nice spelling there,
What's
Alice.
the spelling?
It's Alyce.
Oh,
I like
sweet.
that. That's very nice. But Deborah and Alice, would you pray for the next 2 or 3 people that will be calling? Because this really is, I want a contagion of compassion this hour, a contagion of Christians saying, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be a part of it today. I'm not going to, there's a lot of stuff that I could be doing, but I'm going to do this. What is this, Wednesday? If you're still gathering at churches, sometimes people go to church on Wednesday nights. And I would guess that right now at 5:11 or whatever time it is, there are people getting ready to do that. You know what I remember about Wednesday nights? Really bad food at the Baptist church. We always had,
Was it a potluck?
It was no luck. You got the
That's sad.
chicken and mashed potatoes and green beans always.
Oh, and the
See,
green
if
beans
you're
were
Baptist-
like barely green.
Yeah, and if you're a Baptist, there are only 2 kinds of sandwiches. One is peanut butter jelly, and the other is pimento cheese. Those are the only kind of sandwiches you ever get. But I digress. If you are going to church tonight and gathering with your friends and family and do Bible study, doing a cell group, life groups, whatever you call it in your faith community, I would say maybe you mention it there. But I would say do it this way. Don't mention, hey, do you think we should? Tell them that you did and encourage them to do the same thing. And call the number. Tenfold increase today only. Last day to do it. 800-520-2649 or online at wordfm.com.
Very nice. It's our pro-life Christmas special on the ride home today. Wordfm.com, $60 saves a child's life through the miracle of Plumpy Nut. Call us, 800-520-2649. Hey, thanks for being with us. Counting down the minutes here as we count up the number of children who have new life because of Plumpy Nut. Lauren Littner and Scott Wilder with us, guys. Let's hope people respond here because the moments are precious.
They are, and I think the opportunity to do this one time. It's a different phone number from yesterday. I know there were a lot of 8s. Yesterday, but it's sorry about that. I'm not the keeper of all phone numbers.
Like crazy 8s.
But you know what? This is so much easier. It's 800-520-2649. 800-520-2649. Or online. A lot of people are doing things online these days.
What?
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I just noticed today. Like a lot of people are doing. They're buying stuff and stuff.
We're online right now. We're online.
That's right.
Streaming live
wherever we are
Pittsburgh.
online.
Here we go.
On YouTube.
You can see us eat on, or the visitors eat on the air.
Not again.
That'd be something to see, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would never happen. But if you would join us, 800-520-2649, the gift that you give today is increased 10 times and will just do a world of good. So if you're just, for the top of the hour, sometimes you have people that are just finding us on the radio. We mentioned yesterday that if you wanted to give, $3,000, you could save all 50 kids that come into that hospital where I was in Niger. And you say, $3,000, I can't do $3,000. Well, today your 300 does that. Your 300 is $3,000 today. And if you're wanting to do the end of year tax deductible donation, you have the end of year giving stuff. You want to get the best bang for the buck. This is 10 times your increase of your gift. So you have $5,000. The impact of that is going to be $50,000. We had a woman earlier today.
We did.
They gave $6,000.
Fabulous! Wow.
Which normally could save the lives of 100 kids, but today that will save the lives of 1,000 kids.
That's crazy.
For $6,000.
So cool.
Think about that. So rather than $60 being enough to save one child, $6 can do that today because 6 times 10 is 60. So you put a 0 on the end of it. That's all you got to do. So it's really easy to do the math. So if you want to count up your kids and count up your grandkids, maybe tally them all up together. Had a guy one time say, "Hey, I counted up my kids and counted up my grandkids." I said, "Thank you." He said, "No, wait, I counted up my great-grandkids. Wow. I want to do it for 17 kids." So maybe that's you today, and you want to do it, and I hope that you'll just, whatever it is, you can always do more later. But today is the day to get the tenfold increase, and I would say get on the phone now and say, yeah, I'm going to do it today. 800-520-2649. Our last day. This is the last day. 800-520-2649. I always say, yesterday you heard about it, thought about it, prayed about it, talked about it. But, it's easy to get stuck in the paralysis of analysis. I mean, enough already. It's the right thing to do. This is a word family tradition that we do at Christmas time. This is the 6th year we've done this. And so today we are saving babies under the age of 2 suffering from severe acute malnutrition right in time for Christmas. Send them home for Christmas. And you can do that with your phone call, 800-520-2649 or online at wordfm.com.
Very nice.
Well, since we haven't done this for a while, and I didn't even ask you before I decided to do this, John.
Oh, no.
Does that make you feel scared inside?
I'm used to it.
Just way beyond
Here we go.
So periodically, and because I think we're close to Christmas, we should do this. We do offer ourselves up for a gift of $500 to Save the Children or more. We will take you out for lunch.
We just recently did this.
Yay.
We did like 5 weeks or so ago with a fabulous couple.
We really met a terrific couple. We had such a good time together. And we would love to offer that up to you if that's interesting. So please tell the operator. Is that okay if they would tell the operator when
in
they...
the comments, and we'll have their name.
And if the operator doesn't know anything about it, don't worry about it because we will get all of the information.
So if the operator doesn't know what you're talking about, say, I want to have lunch with John and Kathy, and they're like, what? What are you saying? Just tell them to put that in the comments, and then we'll see that here in the studio.
$500. $500.
Let me say, as a visitor, what a great thing that is for y'all to do. And I want to add something to it if I could, and I would check with y'all about this.
Oh boy,
$500 you get to go to lunch with the two of you.
Yep.
For $1,000, we'll leave John behind. So is
that's rough. That is really rough, but it's funny.
Oh,
the heck,
Sean, I don't want to go with
well,
that.
thank you.
yet.
Thank you for putting me out there. Hey, listen, I was looking today. This is how weird we are in America. Today is National Cupcake Day.
Oh,
so it's like a
don't get me started
national
on
day of
cupcakes.
we're celebrating.
Weird to be doing that right before Christmas.
National
Exactly.
Cupcake Day.
Today is.
Who knew that?
Right. No, they were saying that, of course, then you run down this bunny hole, as you always do. The first mention of a cupcake in a cookbook was somewhere like around 1750. So
Wow.
cupcakes have been with us for a long time.
1750.
Right. So how is it, in a country that we are celebrating a cupcake, something that's like a throwaway little, fun treat, but also on this very same day, we're talking about kids who have malnutrition.
That's right.
It's a weird
That's the world we
disconnect,
live
isn't
in.
it?
That's true, isn't it true?
Our problems are a luxury, really, when you think about it like that. I mean, all the things that I've worried about, we talked about this yesterday, any fear or anxiety that I ever had for my kids, as dire as it might have seemed, I never worried that I wasn't going to be able to feed them.
Yeah.
That was just never
That's
a concern.
true.
Yeah.
I mean, we never had that concern, and I remember talking to a young man. I can't remember who it was. It was somebody on the radio who had grown up quite poor, and he was saying when he would go to other friends' houses, one of the things he was amazed by that he would open the refrigerator and it was all full of food.
Wow.
So even in America, even in his plight, the kids in Africa would look and say, "You mean you never worry about food?
Right.
You never think about? I mean, you think about it all the time. We obsess on food.
Sure.
But you're never worried you won't have food.
Right. And we've and John and Kathy both, you've seen this with us when we've traveled for Save the Children here in this country. We work with a lot of kids right here who are what we would call food insecure.
Yep,
Yeah.
no doubt.
But it's still not. It's not. We're going to be able to take care of that. It's
There's
not
something to eat.
starving.
Right.
Yeah, it's not. At death's door.
Right.
Because you can't eat.
And even during the
pandemic.
pandemic, right? I don't know if this was in Dallas, but this was all over Pittsburgh. They were doing, the local food banks drive-through boxes of food.
Absolutely right.
Well, in fact, when we were here a year ago,
Yeah.
Save the Children was doing that. And we were doing that through Save the Children all around the country because kids didn't have their breakfast and lunch programs at school. But what we normally do with Save the Children is work in Africa. And with the direst, if that's the right word, the most dire of circumstances, and that is children that are really on the brink of death. And today we have a chance to come in and really be a hero. I mean, I remember, John, on one of our trips overseas, meeting a woman, and she was hugging us, and she's crying, and she was saying, "I prayed to God, and God sent you." It's like, wow.
Man, that's
hold
a
on
lot of
second, man.
responsibility,
That is
isn't it?
awesome.
I'd never thought about
I
it that
prayed
way,
to God,
right?
and God sent you. I mean, somebody's praying right now. And you're either going to respond or you're not. But I'm telling you, someday when you meet them in the air, they're going to say, I prayed to God, and God sent you. You were touched. I mean, look, John and Kathy, Lauren and I, we are not the convincer and the convictor, obviously. We are just the communicators, and we can mess it up. And our prayer is to get us out of the way, that God might somehow touch you, and the Holy Spirit might give you that prompting to say, yeah, I'm going to do it today. God has blessed me so, and I want to be a blessing to somebody else. Don't miss a blessing. I think that's one of my most common phrases I've ever said on the radio is don't miss the blessing. And I really mean that. It is a blessing to bless others. We are blessed to bless. The fact that you're listening right now means that you are blessed, and we are to be conduits through which those blessings flow to others. The blessings are not supposed to flow to us. They're supposed to flow through us. And we tell people we do it because Jesus did it for us, and we make a difference for Christ and for time and also for eternity. Tenfold increase in your gift, but we only have 35 minutes left. 800-520-2649. 800-520-2649 or online at wordfm.com.
Very nice. 800-520-2649. Always online at wordfm.com. I mean, Kath, you know this to be true, right? That as a mother, you're always thinking about food anyway. When your kids are little, you're thinking about, okay, what are the meals today? And then here's my shopping list. I mean, it's a litany that runs through all of our lives.
You know what? This is a funny thing. A sad thing, but a funny thing. I remember And when I was having my kids and raising my kids, social media was still, it wasn't as overwhelming as it is now. It wasn't as ubiquitous, right? But it was still there. But I would just got the tail end of the lunch box shamers, which is the women women who would post on Facebook, this is what I packed for my daughter today.
Oh, my.
And it was like, oh, look, it's, 6 ounces of organic chicken and, an organic apple sliced and covered with lemon juice. I mean,
So it doesn't turn brown.
exactly.
Oh, my land.
That's really
And listen,
important.
I was so bad at packing lunches. What was the easiest thing I could do?
Right.
Was make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and throw one of those like pudding things in an applesauce
That's
thing
okay.
and like see you later.
Love you.
Right?
Out the door.
See you later. But that's just but the whole thing made me nervous. I think because I've shared this before, I was so nervous about my daughter who was not able to eat when she was born. I think I was just got in that thing in my head that what are we gonna do? What and so that those friends of mine, and I'm using air quotes, those friends of mine that would post those pictures about those lunches, get out of here.
Right. So there's
That's
such a
not
thing as
helpful.
food shaming.
There is
Right.
food shame.
Is there a class system to food?
So imagine how much food we have that we can shame each other with it.
Right.
Right.
I mean, that's just
Right.
It's sick. Anyway, all I'm saying is that food is a wonderful thing that we can celebrate, but it also, in many cultures, including ours, comes with a lot of issues. Right? It comes with a lot of insecurities. It's packed with a lot.
Yeah.
From who we are inside because we're complicated people.
No doubt about
So
that.
when we're giving money to save the children, to save a child who's malnourished, all I can think of in that moment is that you're saving a mom who's terrified at the same time.
True.
You really are, because if you were that mom, you'd be terrified.
Yeah. 800-520-2649. Once more, it's 800-520-2649. Of course, online at wordfm.com. Scott and Lauren are with us from Save the Children, and we are counting down. We've got, a half an hour plus or so to go before you exit the door. And, of course, at midnight, everything kind of shuts down. So there is a sense of urgency. The good news is, as Scott's been saying, the tenfold gift is in place.
Right.
So no matter what you give times 10,
Yeah.
a buck is $10 and then goes from forward from there. And people have been all over the map. Someone said, I got $6,000. Somebody said, I got $20.
Yeah, sure.
Happily take whatever you have.
Absolutely. You do a monthly gift, a one-time gift. As we said when we were kids, whatever amount you're going to give, times it times 10. That always irritated me. Even as a kid, we would hear that. Times it times 10. Okay, put a zero on the end of it. And that's the impact you're going to have today. So we're really excited to give you the opportunity. And we do it unashamedly. We're not embarrassed. We're not ashamed. We're pleased to do it. We think it's a good thing to do, a godly thing to do. And we're going to do it together today, happily. And we're going to be done at the end of the day. I think the people of God don't need to be beaten about the head and face into submission. You're going to do it or you're not. This is a word family tradition that's important to you or it's not, and if it's not, no judgment. You go in peace. But we want to make sure everybody who might be inclined to want to save a child's life in another part of the world that they will do that with us today. Tenfold increase. I can have you pass that up. 800-520-2649 or online at wordfm.com.
And we have put ourselves out, John and I, for a $500 gift to Save the Children.
Yeah.
We will take you to lunch if that's something that's interesting and fun for you. We'd love to meet you and say hi. We did this, a couple months ago.
Yeah.
We had a terrific time, and so we'd love to have a terrific time with you too. But make sure if you do that, you give $500 and you are interested in the lunch, that you tell the operator, even if the operator does not know what you're talking about, we'll get the message here in the studio.
We went to Olive Garden.
We did.
Is this just one that you're like? What
You're
if
gonna do
what
one?
if several
What if two people
No,
do
it's
it?
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
There are these things
I
I
like
saw
it.
called
We got 3 last time.
pierogies. Have you heard of those?
Pierogies.
I'm kidding.
Have I heard of
They
them?
run through Kathy's
No,
veins.
I know. Y'all took us last time.
I confessed yesterday
Yeah, come
that
on.
on the top of my Christmas tree is the golden pierogi.
I like it. So call now. $500 or more, and you get to go to lunch with John and Kathy. Isn't that cool?
Very nice. We'll take a quick little break. But as Scott says, it is cool and a lot of fun. So go to your phones. Join us one way or another, whether it is $20 or $6,000 or somewhere in between, wordfm.com. Hey, thanks for being with us. We are in our final 1.5 hour of broadcasting with Save the Children. Scott and Lauren are with us. There's a big 10 times 10 going on.
Yeah, times it times 10.
Times 10 times 10.
Times it times
like
So
that.
no matter what you give, times 10. But the most important thing is we are truly, literally, at this second, saving babies' lives.
Yeah, we have just 28 minutes left to do it. And this is, I want to be clear, this is the last day. And it is the only day that you can get the tenfold increase. If you call tomorrow and say, Kathy, I meant to do it, can I still? No.
And I'm going to have to say no.
It's because it really is only one day. It's only today. 800-520-2649 or online at wordfm.com. So if you take your number, whatever you're going to give, times it times 10, as the kids used to say, $30, the impact is $300. $100, the impact is $1,000. Do you see how it works? Put a zero on the end of it, $250, $2,500. And so you will see no verbiage on the website that says a tenfold increase in your gift. But don't worry, every single gift given, whether it's online or by phone, before midnight tonight is going to get the tenfold increase. We would love, though, if you do it right now, because we'd like to be able to say, hey, there's this person that you're going to lunch with, $500 or more, and you'll get to go to lunch with John and Kathy. How about that? That's kind of cool.
It's cool.
That's very
Yeah,
cool.
I'm really intrigued by this. So if they give online, they're in on this
Yeah.
too,
Yeah,
right?
sure, why
Okay.
not?
Absolutely.
Okay. Very
That's
good. Good to
great.
know. Good
That's
to know.
fantastic.
All right. Hey,
But real quick,
yeah.
but y'all are paying, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
We pay.
I was
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, we're
of course.
taking you out.
Yeah, we're going to take you out, and you're going to pay.
That's right. Yeah, we're taking you out. You're going
Y'all
to pay,
can
and
come.
you're going to be happy about
You're
it.
going to pay. We're
Can you
gonna
pick us up, too?
place and you
We'll be
pick us
standing
up,
outside Parkway
Pick us up
Center.
and drop us off. We're lazy radio.
And if you can mediate the argument we're having,
Right.
we'd also
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Just any bit of help there, right? Yeah.
No, we'll take you out. It'll be lots
That's
of fun.
very fun. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah.
I do too. We have somebody to thank.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
sure.
Kim called a little while ago from Pittsburgh. Kim, thank you for your $50 one-time gift,
Fabulous.
which, through the magic of math, like
Yeah.
Scott was just talking about, becomes
right.
$500 because of that 10 times match
Yeah.
that is only today.
The impact is $500. Now, to be clear, you can't get $50. It becomes $500 and go to lunch with you guys. The
Right.
$500
Right, it has to be a
gift.
$500
So
gift.
a $500 gift, the
Yeah.
impact of which would then be $5,000. Then you get to have the old lunch.
Fabulous.
800-520-2649. 800-520-2649 or online at wordfm.com.
Nice.
One time when we were out at an event, I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but I have shared it on the air. A woman, we were doing a speaking thing, and a woman came up to me and said, afterward, "Is that John Hall?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "He's so much better looking than I expected."
Oh, golly.
Which I thought was
Is that a
genius
slap?
because it was like
Yeah.
a compliment and an
It
insult.
really
Yeah.
wasn't. I mean,
Yeah, those
really
are-
wasn't.
Yeah.
I used to say we used to get up here in the go times. We did what you guys do
Yeah.
in another place, and we'd be up front. And the first thing I would always say is, "Welcome. We're glad you're here. We're better for you being here tonight." And let me quickly say, you don't look anything like what I thought you'd look like either. You probably hear that all the time.
Right.
I thought you'd be younger. I thought you'd be older.
Or thinner.
I thought you'd be thinner, fatter,
right,
whatever,
yeah.
right?
That's really
But you
funny.
probably hear that all the time.
That's really funny.
So people, that's fine. That's the
just-
magic of radio. I
it
love
truly
radio.
is.
Well, it used to be till you guys did the video thing.
Here we are.
Now people
Now
know.
anybody can
Right,
see
See, I don't
it.
even
Yeah.
know
There's
where
no
is it.
surprise.
Right behind you there. See you. There you go. See yourself, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we need to step away. But join us, won't you please? Our time is clicking away here every second that goes by. 800-520-2649. 800-520-2649. Always online at wordfm.com. But join us, please. Save a baby's life today with Plumpy Nut. Join us. So we've been talking about food all show, talking about babies. And of course, you hear these things and you think, well, the billion-dollar pet food industry, right? We spend a lot of billions of dollars on our pets. And someone talked about, your garbage disposal will eat better than most of the world this year.
Boy, that is the truth.
Right?
That is absolutely the truth.
So we're throwing away. I mean, look, any dumpster. My kid worked in a grocery store over the summer, and he said they were pitching stuff left and right into that dumpster.
Yeah.
Of course, they've got to contain it so people don't come in and mess with it.
Right, sure.
But we are just churning through things.
My dad, who's been gone forever. I guess Lauren and I lost our dads actually the same year, so 29 years, I think.
Yep,
28 or 29
28.
years. 28 years he's been gone. But he grew up really poor. He was one of 7. There was 4 boys and 3 girls. And because of that, through his whole life, wasting food was one of the things I was taught as a kid never to do. Never. And it wasn't no shaming thing of you eat everything on your plate. It was more like, order what you want, but eat what you order. I mean, don't waste food. We don't waste food, and I still to this day. I mean, I just turned 60, and to this day, I am still like that with food. It hurts me to see any food wasted. And so today, maybe we were talking off the air about I ventured out and made a very old recipe for stuffing, a cornbread stuffing that I made this year for Thanksgiving. And it was quite good, if I might say so myself. But it really was very, very good. But, we're kind of obsessed with food here. It becomes such a social thing. I mean, have you ever had food in your life be something that was merely sustenance? Really never.
No.
Except when you were a newborn. Yeah. And that's all. Mm-hmm. But for children in other parts of the world, I mean, it's not, it's not a social moment. It's just a way to survive. And so today, while we are making sure that our kids have a really good Christmas, there are parents in other part of the world hoping their kids make it to Christmas. And today, you can provide that Plumpy Nut, that emergency nutrition, and have a tenfold increase in your gift. Only today. Only today. It's the only day you can do it, and it's our last day for you to do it. 800-520-2649. Only 16 minutes left. 800-520-2649. And we invite you to do it online also at wordfm.com.
Very nice. Plumpy Nut would save a child's life in a heartbeat. And, Scott, any idea? I mean, you've talked about this. You've seen this in action where you see pallets and pallets of the Plumpy Nut out there in villages around the world. I mean, it is such a lifesaver. It's just kind of hard to sort of envision what that's like. Like women show up at a village and go, my baby is dying. Please, someone do something now.
Yeah. I'll tell you, there are 3 buildings, this little, almost like Army barracks type buildings, half pipes, Oh, yeah. Those, so the first building is to stabilize the children. The second building is where the Plumpy Nut, you introduce Plumpy Nut and show moms, here's how you give it, here's when you give it, here's why you do it. And then the next building, a couple of days later, they're getting ready to go back to their village. And so, but it's a never-ending stream of moms that are bringing their babies. You got to remember this. I mean, these are people that have no transport, no ability to transportation.
They're walking.
They're walking. They're walking everywhere they go. And they're walking sometimes 3 and 4 hours carrying their child, hoping their child lives even to get to the hospital. And basically says, I don't know what to do. I think he's dying. And they immediately, evaluate the child, stabilize the child if there are other issues. Sometimes there are respiratory issues that come when your immune system breaks down. There are obviously diarrhea and different things that you have to get control of, like even dehydration, and then ultimately get their nutrition back up. But it really, in the 50 that we found that first day, only 1 died. 49 went back to their villages, and it was all because of Plumpy Nut. And we walk into the second building, and I held up a thing of Plumpy Nut. Look, I don't mean to ever to say something that would seem like I'm treating it disrespectfully, but I remember a grandmother who was there with her daughter, who had then brought that daughter's baby, and they were now in building number 2. And she got up from the bed, and she was dancing a little African dance and doing the sounds, and doing. I was like, And I was rolling
Celebration.
video. I was stunned. She was so happy because we had come there and we had brought Plumpy Nut that she knew. And I even asked her, I said, what is this? It is a miracle food, she said.
Wow.
As we gave it to her daughter and showed her daughter how to save this woman's granddaughter's life.
Fabulous. 800-520-2649. Won't you join us, please? We can talk about this in many different ways, but the basics are that children are dying for want of just some simple nutrition that you and I take for granted. We can talk about this forever. But until you do something, like we've done something, you step forward and you know the truth is that children will continue to die en masse. I mean, every day there's tragedies. I know that, right? We look, the hurricanes and shootings and all. People just die every day. But here, we can stop some death in the areas that we have connections to in the name of our Lord Jesus, that you're part of this here. So for the most vulnerable children, we can do something. All it takes is a little tiny piece of us. 800-520-2649. If you saw them, you would be moved. I know it. If you saw a child starving in front of you, of course, you would do anything in your power to stop the horror of that moment. You don't want to see that. You don't want to be part of that. You don't want to engage in that. So Scott and Lauren are here to tell you the story. They've seen it. They understand it. So all it needs is a little push from you to make this work at 800-520-2649. No accident that you're here today. As the seconds click by, we know the urgency. We know the need. And so we just need your pro-life stance to rescue children at 800-520-2649.
I remember a bunch of years ago. I mean, everything is more years ago than I would like to remember. But I remember second time I went to Korea. I remember Cambodia. Second time I went to Cambodia. It was like the first time I went, and then 3 years later I went. The first time we went for a mission thing and had helped start a Bible study there. And then 3 years later we went back to the very same place, and we saw that Bible study had grown into a church.
Wow.
And it was a whole church with a building and everything. And we said, what an amazing thing that this is what happened, all from the Bible study that we started when we were here 3 years ago. He said, no. We have 7 other churches that this has grown into.
What?
Because every time I got to 50, 60 people, they'd split off and grow it and grow it and grow it. And the reason I bring that up is because like that, when we come back here for the 6th time at this time of year to talk about saving babies' lives, a Word Family tradition to save babies with Save the Children, we can say to you, because of what we did, because of what you did through Save the Children last year, there are babies that are alive today. Because of what you did the previous year, there were babies alive last year. And what we do today, a year from now, Lord willing, we'll be able to say there are 350 babies that wouldn't be on the face of the earth. Each one lovingly handcrafted by God, not cookie cutter. Every single one unique. Loved as much by God as he loves your kids and your grandkids and you. But because God has blessed you in such a way, you are listening right now, as John said. We don't believe it's coincidental that you're listening. We think it's providential that you're listening. So that if you've prayed this prayer ever in your quiet time, or maybe you prayed it even today, Lord, show me today somebody I can be you too. We would offer this is that opportunity. And your gift is going to be increased tenfold if you call right now.
Yes.
Now, any gift given before midnight tonight, you get the tenfold increase. Yes, the phone number will be alive after we part ways in a few minutes, but we'd love for you to call right now, 800-520-2649, and any gift $500 or more from you, and you're going to get to go to lunch with Kathy. And John. I'm sorry, and John.
I mean, I'll sit in the parking lot.
No,
and
we
Kathy.
want you to come in.
Thank you.
We want you to come in.
That's a really fun thing that y'all do. And you know what? I like having meals with you too. So I
See,
can.
so maybe listeners would
wouldn't?
as well.
Can I turn to the
Yes,
audience
this is a
right
big
now?
deal.
I'll turn to the audience right now. They are fun to have a meal with. And you should have a meal with them too. And do a good deed. And your gift is going to increase tenfold if you call right now.
And we'll pay for it.
Fabulous.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's for a gift of $500 or more to Save the Children.
I love that.
Yeah.
Often, when I hear you talk here, Scott, and you see these kids, I think about what it was like to hold your newborn child in your arms for the first time, that miracle moment, right? And you look at your baby and you think, there is untapped potential in this child's life. What will the echo of this child grow up to be, right? The untapped potential in the children that we talk about right now. One of those children whose lives we're saving, what will they do with their life? Where will God take them on their journey? And so because we have that opportunity, then we must follow through and do something now to unlock that untapped potential. Because
so
in all of
easy-
us, it's there.
It's so easy to do, and it's ours to do. I mean, I keep going back to what would it be like if you were the person on the other end praying and just waiting every day? I mean, like standing on your tiptoes with, shielding your eyes from the sun and looking to see if that you prayed for is in sight. And you can be that today if you just call right now.
Fabulous. We need to step away. Please go to your phone right now. The minutes are going by. This is our last day with Scott and Lauren with Save the Children. The tenfold gift is in place. $60 literally saves a baby's life with the miracle of Plumpy Nut. But we need you to engage. 800-520-2649. 800-520-2649. Of course, wordfm.com.
Merry Christmas. We haven't said that yet.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Hey.
Don't you like to say Merry Christmas?
I do like to say that.
Me too. It feels always feels good.
Yeah.
Unless you say in June.
Lauren and I were, right, then it's weird. Lauren and I were down at PPG last night. We went and saw the Santas.
What do you mean you saw the
The
Santa?
Santas from the Winter Garden.
What's that like?
It was great, except the Winter Garden's not there anymore.
What do
That
you
was
mean?
a surprise.
What do you mean it's not there anymore?
Lunch.
We did.
Twice
We did.
yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, the
And we
heck?
invited you both times, and you said no twice.
The Winter Garden's gone?
Don't
Yeah.
act
What?
like you weren't included.
Yeah.
The Winter Garden's gone.
Yeah, so they just made it smaller. The Santas are there. The really big ones aren't there. But anyway, it was fun. It's nice. But
I
it's,
learned a lot.
yeah, but it's not quite as it's just different than it was.
You learned about the city of Pittsburgh.
Well, I
No.
learned about the Santas.
There's, you know, the
All
Santas from
different-
around the world.
Oh, of
like
course.
different, like how all of the different, so many different
Nationalities,
Yes.
look at it.
Yes, how he's
What they call him.
celebrated in different countries,
The kinds of
different
things he
lands.
brings.
Excellent.
When he comes, sometimes he comes like at dinner time. Sometimes he comes the day after.
Sometimes he comes in January.
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. All right, Santa.
It's a big job.
In my case, growing up, so he doesn't come at all.
He didn't.
It's only if you misbehave.
Right. Well, you can understand.
Coals and switches.
They mine coal for a reason.
Oh, let's skip that house.
Yeah. One year, my kids gave me a charcoal briquette in my stocking
Oh,
to represent
no.
coal.
That's
Yes, yeah. They thought it was hysterical.
I'm
bet they
sure.
did.
Oh my gosh! It's in my office. Yeah, there it is.
I bet they did.
Bring out the briquette.
All right, so as we wrap up this time together thinking about kids who are suffering from acute malnutrition, we just want to thank you for being along the last couple days. If you've listened to the show and have been moved to give, we're grateful. If you have not been moved to give, why not? Come on, we encourage you to step aside or step in as we do this together, and offering up again the $500 gift. John and I will take you out for lunch.
Take you out for lunch. What the heck? Yeah. Listen, Lauren and Scott, you guys are great. I mean, you come
Yeah, we have
here,
such a good time when
and
you
you know what?
visit.
You proclaim the gospel just by your presence.
Oh, that's very,
It's the truth.
very,
Very
sweet,
sweet.
of you.
We really do genuinely. We say the same thing behind your back. We're telling your guy in the corner office when you weren't even in here earlier how much we love being here and love being with you guys, and we just love this part of the country. We love everything about it. It's such a delight
Thanks.
to be here with you guys, and especially for such a great cause. And so 10 times match. It's the only day you get that. This is our last day, the waning moments. We're almost to the shank of the evening.
People could give up till midnight and still
That's
get
true.
the 10 times match.
That's
Is that
true.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, so midnight tonight, Eastern Time, either the phone number at 800, write it down, 800-520-2649, or go online to wordfm.com, and you'll get the 10 times impact to your gift. And but we do like to be able to thank you by first name and city. So thanks to all that have done it online or have done it by calling the number. And gosh, I wish it were next time already. We love being with you
Thank you
guys.
so much. The poetry of Scott Wilder with the shank of the evening. It's very nice. It
I
paints
said
it.
only to get a reaction out of Lauren. She's immediately reacting.
Yeah, he used
Vivid
to say
picture.
that a lot.
I say,
Yeah.
hey, coming up in the shank of the evening.